I must be related to Count Dracula because of my Count Dracula mark right there. It's true. It's true. But anyhow, so I was just about to say how ignorant the juries are on this. In this video, I was going to point out, I was going to say, this one of the jurors in Michael Dunn's trial was like kind of thinking they're kind of stupid, and then kind of thinking like, oh, you put yourself in a position out here, we're forced. That's one thing that we're all forced to have to live, deal, and cope with everybody, each other in society. If we screw up bad enough, then we get in to have ourselves represent ourselves as an idiot in a form of a jury in a jury trial. That's what I was just thinking, but actually, I'm going to tell you right now the thing that kind of makes me hesitate to saying to going that far is saying that there's something wrong with this trial here, but I'm not going to completely blame it on the jurors now and either the system because it is important that um, if you kill somebody, you can't just drive away. Or if you shoot somebody or shoot at something, open fire or with your weapon, you cannot leave the scene or wherever that happened at before you have to talk to the police. Another thing that we are uh, basically um, we're forced to have to deal with that. So, and still, it's on you. If you want to go and have talk to the police, go ahead, buy my gas, go shoot at somebody's SUV or whatever. But we're gonna go through this here for a second, and I'm actually a person that has before. I have been in altercation. It was not my fault at all. It was the other person's fault. They attacked me, and I hit the guy, and I ran away. That's what I did. And the cops came and they arrested me for it. The charges and everything were dropped, and they proved that it was self-defense or whatever. But still, I had to go through the rigors of being charged, and then not knowing, what evidence or this or that that I had to show my innocence and where the blame actually lied. So I actually had a key piece of that, and I'm just saying that because I also in that circumstance may have been arrested partly due to the fact that I guess you can use that as an excuse, and I hate making excuses really, but I didn't call the police 911 and say this guy attacked me. I had to hit him. I didn't do that. I called my parent. I called my father on the phone because I was like, this guy tried to jump me, man. I was not trying to get into an altercation with the guy, but if he wanted to come and try and punk me on my property, I will smash his face in dog shit, in my dog shit, where they shit out in my yard. I will drag that motherfucker. If he wants to come and punk me on my own land, I will fucking drag that motherfucker by whatever shit in a shirt or whatever to my dog shit, and I will smash that fucker's face in my dog shit. If you want to come and punk me on my land, okay? So, anyways, I had nothing to do with trying to punk him on his property or tell him anything about what he was doing over there. I could care less. But long story short, on that one, I also was in a situation where I wasn't guilty of provoking a fight. Um, in a sense where you can say I went and I said, "Come on, let's go, let's get it, let's go." I did not do that. So people should be able to handle themselves like an adult, and it is up to that guy. Initially, if he wants to come out and throw me off guard and try and sneak up on me and hit me when I was looking at something else, I wasn't even looking at him. Okay, and it's on other people if they want to take the initial to go ahead and uh, attack. Besides of what you want to say provoked the thing or how that ended up happening, it's still on that individual right there who couldn't handle it himself and had to try to attack somebody else. And then he got his ass handed to him, is what happened. So, and that's what happened in my case, and I was just so startled that I knew better than to not call the police and to report it. But I was just so startled that that happened, that this guy did this to me, that I couldn't think straight. I was shocked that the guy would do that. So I could care less if some guy's violating my property. However, I have to tell him that. You know, it's like almost like I have to call the police before any of all that, way before, just to tell them, yeah, this guy's shitting in my yard. He's bringing his dog and his neighbor's dog over to my yard and purposely standing there, and he has one of them extension cord things that go way out to let his dog come up and shit on my property, and he's been doing it for like 3 years. So after 3 years, I went and confronted the guy. Again, long story short, I didn't call the police, but I didn't necessarily walk off like nothing happened either. You know, I knew something had happened, and I was like, oh my god, they're gonna fucking, this guy's gonna fucking, he's evil. He's gonna, with the evil court and the evil police and all of them that are evil, that I really believe are evil, are going to prove something against me. I hit this guy. I didn't sit there and pound him and kill the guy, which I could have done. No, I hit him to get away from him, and I walked away. I ran almost to get away from the guy because it shocked me so bad. But I got thrown in jail for assaulting somebody when I didn't do it. I didn't do anything wrong at all. I was trying to be civil about the whole entire thing so they could kiss my fucking ass about that in Green Cove Springs and in fucking Middleburg and Orange Park and fucking Jacksonville. You guys kissed my fucking ass whenever it came to that fucking case and other fucking bullshits. Now I'm gonna fucking point some other shit out. So the guy didn't call the police. He walked off like nothing happened. You just shoot up somebody or shoot up a car. It was something like that. And I had a registration for a concealed firearm and I had to use it. You better believe I'm not going anywhere, and I'm actually calling somebody on the phone. I'm either calling an attorney or I'm actually calling the police or somebody who's gonna, you know, be able to talk to me about what just happened. Not trying to get out of anything like Ted Kennedy or anything like that. I'm just, it's what you have to do to watch your 6 o'clock. If you're innocent, and there's going to be a high chance, a very likely chance, that you're going to face a situation where somebody confronts you in some way or tries to put their hands on you. They think they're going to be able to get away with putting their hands on a person, and they couldn't, could they? Well, so I just wanted to tell people that don't blame me for this video, for changing my mind and my story about Dunn and wanting him to be released from jail on me, or racism or being white or anything like that. If you want to blame somebody, blame the law, blame the authorities and the police for basically making me such a well-rounded person when it comes to law and to think about things like this pretty thoroughly. So I want a petition made up for Dunn's release. Um, basically, the word I'm looking for is acquittal. And so I want the petition to not be an acquittal, but I want it to be drafted up. Dunn, Michael Dunn, here in Jacksonville, Florida, or wherever he is, to be drafted up for his equal to an acquittal. If they would have gave him an acquittal and just let him walk. I have other videos I have one video that I made recently, and it actually goes into detail about my opinion on a guilty man being set free, than what I would rather have that happen than to see an innocent man go to prison. In this case, you had a scumbag that needed to be released. The scumbag was actually screwed over in his trial, and in my opinion, it is a mistrial from the whole entire story. And we'll go into the story in details, and we'll actually read part of the Wikipedia on the event. Now, and I'll show you the real controversy in the story and why it's only has the merit of acquittal written all over it. Now, these jurors and other people that they select are so uninformed, or what do you say? They're not up to par when it comes to law and procedure. So I don't know if it would be better to actually have a bunch of attorneys in there, because attorneys, I feel, are kind of screwy too in this state. I think it's a podunk. The bar in Florida is a podunk. These whatever people are, there's good and bad people everywhere, and of course there's going to be intelligent people that went into the profession of being a judge or a lawyer or whatever. But still, in my opinion, however that developed, and I'm not trying to be rotten or mean about it, I'm just stating the fact that I think it's a podunk bar in Florida. I think it's one of the most podunk, like you would say, a place is podunk, insignificant, blah, stay out of that place or whatever. That's what I compare that to a place that they call podunk. And just uh, nobody even likes talking about the place. It's such kind of an illiterate, kind of ignorant piece of garbage is what I think the bar in Florida is. That's my honest opinion of it. I think it's stupid. I think it's really that dumb, and they somehow let the most ignorant people in there. And as far as politics go, I wanted to mention Angela Corey. See, that's a special attorney or something over there, prosecutor person lady who pushes these racially divided and narrowed in on subjects or whatever. It's over in Jacksonville over here. So I was going to be frank and honest with these. If you want to go ahead and have somebody be a special attorney and have somebody like Angela Corey be in charge of these cases and oversee these, make sure that the stupidest things happen at the end of the outcome for a vote, so that people know that she's a Democrat. You know what I mean? Because everybody's got to know she's a Democrat who's helping the black people get revenge and vengeance and everything. I was also just going to say, I'm from a place that is a all white place. Like, white people go there and live, and if a black person went there, they would kind of maybe feel a little bit out of place to be like, these white people. So I was just going to say my honest opinion. We don't hate you or not want the majority. I don't know what everybody else thinks, but I don't hate black people and them being subjected to racism or anything like that, with racist laws that are still on the books, in Roseburg, Oregon, about some nigga that can't be out after midnight or after dark. Whenever it's dark, you best not be outside, you niggas. That's what it's an Oregon law where I'm from. So it's still on the books. So anyhow, that being said, it being a all white place where I'm from, white people can feel kind of comfortable, whether with their own or whatever. I think Jacksonville is turned into a place where only black people should live. You know, not saying like should turn it into a complete Harlem, but if that's what happens and they kill white people for going in there, I don't know. I mean, well, I don't know what to say about that. You know, do you want white people to start killing black people and you just not know what happened to the black people if they go into a white neighborhood? That's the way America wants to work here. So, anyways, putting ourselves in Dunn's shoes, I have so many times I can understand exactly where somebody's coming from who would be confronted by somebody who is um, around and mixed with gang type of activity or criminal activity. You know, some of them are armed or one of them's armed out of a group or whatever, but they've got a gun. You know, so aside from somebody not having a gun and just trying to physically um, like confront you and manhandle you or something, or have their way with you is how I explain. These people want to come up and try and put their hands on you and have their way with you like a rapist. Like he just got away with raping you or something. So um, I find it like highly ill and vile to the highest level, and just really on high alert when it comes to shit like that. So I just wanted to put myself and everybody for a second, because I don't think that the jury, there's one thing that the jury is stupid about here, being dumb about. I don't believe that they really put themselves in Dunn's shoes. Say like, oh, so these guys would pull up, confront you, instead of turning the radio down and just being like, whatever, fucker, cracker, whatever they want to call the guy, and just be like, how many times there's people, all different races, it doesn't matter if you're white, black, or brown, or whatever color you are, have been put in a situation where you just had to sit there, you knew that you were forced to be reckoned with, but instead of starting some shit and opening your damn mouth, you sat there and just were quiet. Because you didn't really feel like fucking with it. You just, when's the last time that shit happened? So, evidently, it's not the case here. So, however this altercation happened, now if I was in Dunn's shoes, um, whatever reason, I don't hate rap music. So, different generation, different generation. So, I don't have a problem with rap or hip hop necessarily or anything like that. Um, kind of actually into gangster rap, actually. That is the type of music that I prefer and listen to. But I'm still gonna go ahead and put myself in this creep's shoes, like the jury should have. Even though I have a problem with him, what I read on the Wikipedia about the guy is that he called rap crap. So sure, that's his opinion, but this sounds like you know, um, kind of a provoking thing. You know, the guy should have got out of his car and should have locked his car up or whatever he had to do to walk away from the people and the music. So that's why I was on board at the very beginning to convict the guy, but you can't convict the guy off of fucking air. See that? See what I just threw up there? Did you see that object? Just did you see that? Let me catch it. Did you see it? Do you see that? It's fucking air. It's nothing. It's not fucking nothing fucking there. So, not a tight sealed case. If you ask me, this case is far, far from sealed and over with. As far as I'm concerned, it just points out like, why would I live in Florida? Why would I want to live in this atrocious state? If you're gonna make it racist instead of making it better, where whites and blacks can live together. If some people have to, for whatever reason, you know, be like looking ill at people eternally, you still don't understand the concept of innocence from the beginning when babies are just conceived and they're born and brought into this earth and then they're put together. Aside from all of the bullshit that is told to people or taught, um, you what's that word called? Um, now I'm thinking of um, how they indoctrinate. They want to indoctrinate people to hate. So now you have an indoctrination of hate. But without that, and besides that, you have a world that has a black guy that grew up and a white guy that grew up together that don't see any difference. They weren't taught or told anything different. And now then there's another case or another scenario where you have the same thing happen, but the white guy, let's say black guy's on this side. The black guy never seen a white person, and the white guy never seen a person. So when they see each other, like when they're like looking at each other, like, oh, if they hadn't ever been in each other's world and not shared the same concepts and ideas and everything, and had a friendly based relationship as friends, being uh, kind of close to where I'd find some people to find be close as relatives. People, black people that I know, I call them my relatives. Not even ancestors, just people who I recognize as somebody who I care for, like somebody in my family. And they're black, and they're not really my family, but anyhow, not trying to be racist at all, and I understand it is, but I'm not saying segregate it or anything like that. I'm trying to say, well, just make it all black in Jacksonville, make the Jaguars all black, and then kick every white NFL player off the team, make it a full. And I've been saying make it a full black team for years because they're in the deep black South. Now here you go. You know, you got Jacksonville, and you got an opportunity to go ahead and take that city, and let's see what you black folks do with it. So I'm just encouraging them to all move. You know, a lot of people, blacks only, move to Jacksonville, Florida, and all the whites move out. They can move on the outer sides, you know, towns and whatever, away from the city, and only allow black people to live in Jacksonville. I want the black people to step up and say, we want this to be a black city. And there's no trick or deception involved in my words or anything like that. I'm just saying, if you're going to convict me after somebody pulls a gun on me and I had to shoot them to death, you're going to convict me. Maybe even if I called the police and sat there and waited for the cops to show up, or if I had an airtight alibi and they couldn't portray me like George Zimmerman or something like that. Honestly, and you're in an honest scenario where you had to protect yourself, or somebody else was with you too, and then they want to convict you anyways, why would I want to be there? Why would I want to be there? Why would I want to continue? Yeah, this constant race baiting stuff that is just it's wrong. It's just absolutely wrong. Because here you have Democrats, they think it's completely acceptable to use black people, use gay people, and now they're trying to use Muslims. Oh, you can't say anything about Muslim. Oh my gosh, they're radical. I'll cut your head off. You know, I don't know. I think that there might be a small amount of Muslims that practice peacefully. Somehow they have worked their way up to a new error, a new era. Sorry, a new error. Muslims are at a new era. They're at a new era of a different perception on how they would look at the like the Old Testament is to the New Testament with Christians. You know, we're not barbarians anymore. When Jesus came, he laid down the law for us to not take things into our own hands. And actually, now that I read the scriptures a little bit here, or a lot, or whatever I do, it suggests a little bit when God says something about homosexuality that he leaves it open for an interpretation, actually. And I'm against interpreting the Bible because I believe that it says what it says, and don't try to interpret it if it, because it's going to plainly give you what you need to know. Not a, oh, this or this, help you to assume what you need to figure out. But God, when he talks about homosexuality and plus the actions that he took with Sodom and Gomorrah, suggests to me now that it's always been about in God's hands, and God will take care of it. That is not, it might be up for us to warn the people, hey, God is coming, and he's going to be, he's going to place his wrath on you, and it's going to hurt you, and it's going to kill you, and it's going to be the worst thing that you could ever imagine. But it's not for me to take God's word into my own interpretation in my own hands, but other people take into the interpretation somehow that means us to bury somebody to their neck and then stone them to death. That's not what God said. God actually did say in certain cases to do that, and that was again in the Old Testament. So anytime that people were told or believed that they needed to take matters into their own hands and to do something, um, you know, uh, basically, um, that's the Old Testament. That's not anything relevant to now, and it hasn't been a relevancy for over 2,000 years to be a barbarian. So we're dealing with other people's cults, religions, and other things, and people, pagans, and non-believers, and atheists, and all these things alike. And we have to still, to everybody's face, keep sure that we don't become a barbarian villain like we were allowed to be, or we did in the past, or whatever. So, I believe that's the case now. So there could be in every religion in the world people that have come to a new point or new chapter in their um, belief that barbarianism, or however you say that word, being a barbarian is wrong. It is not the answer. We're in a different time now where being a barbarian is just nonsense to people. I'm like, well, what's your point? So their point is to get at complete control of people, to dominate, take over, to scare people. So anyway, so back to the story. I'm changing my opinion from that they should ought to throw Michael Dunn in prison and throw away the key to now I want a petition drafted up for the man to be released ASAP. ASAP. And I had a bit of a story myself. What I believe was the people were driving around before the police found them, and they didn't take their friend to the hospital. So they had enough time to go to the hospital. They should have probably held the guy's wounds all up, but if these guys are driving around and they want to be in the army or army combatant gangsters or whatever they're roaming around being or whatever, they probably need to actually go join the military and then learn how to plug somebody's bullet hole so they don't die. If you want to go pull guns on people or act like a criminal like that. So just letting you know. So now I see a bit of a tussle with both sides. So what are the people in the van supposed to do? They pulled off and left, and then Dunn left, and then the people came back. Two of the people, there was 4 people in the car, 2 of them disappeared, were nowhere to be found. So we need to take a look at that for a second. The Wikipedia shooting of Jordan Davis says shooting of sorry, my bad. I dropped the ball. I broke the dam. Yes, I did. I dropped the ball. And I could be freaking ignorant and dumb enough to actually push stop. It's a video right in the middle of this video. I'm just maybe compulsive, not compulsive, impulsive. I don't know. Somewhere I'm just jumpy person. So I jumped the gun. I'll cut this video short, damn you. Blame. Let's see. Yeah. And again, you can blame all of my thoughts and this whole video on overactive boredom by police or my now knowledge in law. That's what I wrote down. You can blame them, blame attorneys, and blame going through the ringer in court, those dumb idiots. So anyways, here's what I have highlighted. Investigators later searched the SUV and found no weapons. Dunn's attorney claimed that detectives did not search the area for a weapon for several days after the shooting. After the shooting, they went back there days after. So they didn't take the guy's Dunn story into account and go look for a shotgun or go look for the other two people that were in the car. Acquittal. That tells me acquittal right there. Sorry. But the police botched the thing and they went ahead and convicted the guy anyways. I admit, he's kind of a creep. He's a creepy person. I don't like him. I would not hang out with him. I would not. I would despise hanging out with this person. But still, a creep go free, then an innocent man go to prison. Right? So anyways, so days after the shooting. This here is part of in the Wikipedia shooting of Jordan Davis. It's in the shooting part right here. It looks like it's sectioned right about right in the middle of the shooting incident. And this part I just want to highlight and point out real quick and read it if I can. Okay, Davis's friends testified that he could not have opened his door because the child lock was set. Now, time out. Hold on right here, okay? I just wanted to say that what do you say? These people's the relevancy to their character. I want to characterize these people. I do. I just want to show and point out that what deceptions and shifty practices and things are going on with these people, that their characters are, I believe, non-believable. They're not credible witnesses. The people that were in the SUV that was shot by Dunn have no credit. I give them zero credibility. None. They get no credibility at all. There's no way that these people should not have been flying to a hospital to get their friend to a hospital. So part of how I hold them accountable for this, they are actually, in my opinion, guilty of manslaughter, of a type of manslaughter that in this state, in Florida, would leave you with, they could give you anywhere from 2 to 4 years, 5 to 10 years, or they could even give you the maximum for a manslaughter, in this case, 20 years apiece. These guys that didn't take their friend to the hospital right away. And then it goes on to explain even more why I'm concerned about the police not giving them duplicate, the same charges or charges themselves from the police, and is as high as strong as manslaughters that has, a 2 to 5 year at least prison sentence bearing on the conviction. When convicted, I would instruct the juries at that point that this is something that is an example. You can't just drive off with your shot friend and not go straight to the emergency room to try to save his life. And if they had a weapon in there, here's the kicker. So they said he couldn't have opened his door because the child lock was set. Okay, contrary to Dunn's claim that he mentioned the shotgun to her several times, Rauer testified that he never mentioned a gun either that night or the next day. From what I remember, Dunn did this incident and then didn't say anything to the people. I don't know what he was thinking. Was Dunn thinking, oh, that's just the way the ghetto works. That's just how these, crime gangsters or whoever the hell they are pulling a gun on somebody or something. Maybe it was an excuse, but right here doesn't give them credibility at all. It actually takes all of their credit and credential as a witness and everything away, because they committed a crime. They committed a crime and got away with it. So that leads me to thinking, I'm going to stop right here for a second. I'll read the whole thing, but I just wanted to say real quick, it makes me think, why would I want to go to Jacksonville, live in Florida, or be here at all? Why don't you just have everybody black move to Florida or Jacksonville, if you want to just start with Jacksonville first, and then we'll give the whole state to blacks, and let you do your own black legislation, let you do your own black policing, and your own black everything in the whole state, and we'll move every white person out of the state. We'll evacuate them like refugees, even if we have to. All the old people, say young, we'll move them out of here. Even people in hospitals, we'll evacuate them ASAP out of Florida. Because that's where this is going, basically. Complete race state. So, here we go. I never mentioned, because Dunn took off like nothing happened. So that's where we're at right here. Dunn just drove away, didn't call the authorities, didn't do anything, just decided to just walk away. Just walk away. Instead of walking away beforehand, where before he shot somebody, he could have just left. But I understand he felt fear for a passenger that he had with him and himself, and that's where I'm putting myself in Dunn's shoes, because I have been confronted by assholes, okay? And people out here are not innocent little victims. You're not a little innocent victim. This is bullshit, okay? So if somebody were to confront me on this before I know I'm safe or I'm in the clear, there's no telling what I'm feel like I'm compelled to have to do for my protection, or to defend my own life, for crying out loud. At that point, I feel like my life is in jeopardy or being threatened at that point. So the jurors failed to actually feel what it would feel like, or try the best that they could an emphasis on how you would feel if you were put into a situation where you were scared out of your wit for your life. And that's what it sounded like to me. And it all matches up with what the guy is saying, Dunn is saying, not with what the people in the SUV were saying at all. So here we go with the witness reports. Witness reports conflict with the story. This promises to be a bone of the contention in the case. Right? As defense attorney, Strala told jurors that not only did the teens leave the gas station parking lot, and the jurors heard all of this. So they heard all of this, and they're still ignorant to all this because they didn't put themselves in the guy Dunn's shoes for a second. I mean, I don't know, but it sounds like it sounds more feasible this way, that he's innocent than guilty. So, Strala told jurors that not only did the teens leave the gas station parking lot, they stopped in an adjacent lot about 100 yards away before returning and asking someone to call 911. They had ample time to get rid of a firearm or pipe, Strala said. Also, Strala said that the witnesses cannot account for two of the teens' whereabouts immediately after the shooting, and two witnesses initially told police the teens appeared to be stashing something. No weapon was found because the police did not secure the parking lot to conduct a proper search, Strala said, and it was days before authorities looked in the nearby bushes and dumpsters. Speaking about the child lock story, Strala said, adding that one of the teens, Jordan Leland Brunson, initially told police Jordan was getting out of the car when the shots rang out. 4 days later, Strala said the teens claimed driver Tommy Stearns had child locks activated, preventing Jordan from getting out. You know why he didn't duck? He was getting out of the car with a weapon, Strala said. Well, part of what I heard was that a window. I thought that they said that the guy pulled the window down and that's how the guy seen the gun or something like that, or somehow the guy pulled the gun up. So now the only chance really that this guy really has, I would guess, is quite possibly other witnesses and other people that know something. So if you know anything and you have more to this story, you can send me a message here, and I will or contact Dunn's attorneys, if you could search them or whatever you have to do to figure that out. But here is my channel, the Real American, and I'll show you where you can leave me a message. I'll look at it and I'll see if I want to reply to it or not. Go on here, to my channel, and you'll see something down here where it says where you can leave a comment or something like that on there. And you can leave me a message in there. Somebody who feels compelled or guilty about this can come forward and tell me where that gun is. Tell me where the shotgun is. Tell me where the shotgun is. What happened after they left? What the teens did, where they disappeared off to, and the rest of the whole story. We need answers, and we didn't know because if we allow this to go on, this could happen to anybody, you know, being confronted. But then again, they'll probably know the difference between somebody who was um, put in a situation like that and is able to prove their innocence more by not fleeing the scene or not calling the authorities about what just happened. If that was a real true story that they really pulled a gun on the guy, there's going to be, the gun's going to be somewhere. I don't think they're going to destroy it. And if they destroyed it, do you think that they're going to be able to just like melt it down or get rid of it, just get rid of it altogether? You know, make it into a pan or something? I mean, or are they going to throw it into the river or the ocean or something? You know, so the gun's somewhere out there, and the rest of the story, you know, adds up to what's really going on here. But still, with those guys doing that and the police doing that, in my honest, not opinion, it's not an opinion at all, it's the absolute truth of the whole matter. And the way that American law really works is that that guy has enough for an acquittal. They did not prove that he was guilty without a shadow of a doubt. These people could have confronted him with a gun and made him shoot at them, or the guy just went and got his gun and just freaking unloaded into the people's vehicle. You know, does that happen? Is that guy's main goal or intention? You know, they, in my opinion, they have not proven that without a shadow of a doubt, and they passed the judgment and everything in a conviction on this guy by also using black people like Democrats do. They use black people. Why? Because they can. Because black people will go right into it, being suckers and suckered right into that, and then letting the Democrats rule their life even more. It's pretty pathetic. So, um, dumb shit. Magnum 3. Shotgun. Help. They found the shotgun. And all I can say is that the people that were in the story, that told the story or whatever, are wrong. They're a bunch of liars. The guy who got shot and killed was a thug. He's not innocent. He's not a victim at all. He got shot and killed because he garnished a weapon and pulled it on somebody. You haven't proven that he did not do that, and you haven't proven that the guy went and just illy shot these people into their vehicle and at other people, because they were innocent victims too. You know, so I don't know what you want a life sentence plus 90 years on somebody for opening fire into a car like that. Well, maybe you should either start blaming a little bit of that on people not being trained marksmen, because if he was trained thoroughly with the pistol, with a hand weapon, right, then he would not have been shooting all over the place. He would have shot in one particular spot and he would have unloaded on the thing. But also, he needed, his responsibility also was to keep the vehicle there and not let the vehicle run off. Because if I'm put in a situation like that and I have a permit for concealed firearm and I had to use it, I would also consider myself as partly the law. Until the cops showed up, I would think that I would have to try to think rationally about it as a honest cop. Not the cop that goes and beats everybody up and is a bully and pushes people around. The cop that judges with reason, that puts everything into common sense and basically does all the checks to watch at 6 o'clock. So I wouldn't want to, let alone leave the scene if I had to do something like that, let alone let the people leave either. I would have shot their tire. There would have been an ill shot going anywhere. It wouldn't have been that ill at all. It would have been a precise shot in the person's tires, and the SUV wouldn't have got away, and I would have held them all up, and I would have made them all get out of the vehicle, and I would have had them all sitting there like this up against the car by the time the police got there. And if they really had a firearm, like I said, it would be there for Exhibit A in my defense. So yeah, I guess I'm leaving this one out for people to decide. What you think? What do you think? Is that wrong? Is that hokey pokey justice?